The Indianapolis 250 is 25 hours away from this very moment. But today we run one more practice session to tune these race cars up for the big race tomorrow. 33 drivers have qualified their way into the great race tomorrow, and we will see who's the fastest today before we begin tomorrow's Indianapolis 250. Christian Vargas will lead us to the green flag tomorrow in the big race. Let's see what he does here as we descend on Carb Day, the eve of the Indianapolis 250, as we begin the day's festivities with the Indy 250 Carb Day practice. Let's see who has the fastest time and see who's the best going into tomorrow's big race. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with IndyCars. I am back in the booth here for IndyCar. It's been quite a while. It's been since Pocono of last year since I've been the head for one of these IndyCar events, but we are here for Carb Day practice, and of course tomorrow the Indianapolis 250. We are so excited for this race, the biggest race of the year, and I cannot express to you how excited I am to see how this one's going to play out. It's hard to believe it's already here. It's been a little weird jumping right into the race this year. Of course, Caleb did qualifying over the weekend, and what an exhilarating session that all was. Unfortunately, we saw three drivers fail to qualify in Corey Case, Bruno Diacomo, and Jay Knapp, and that's a shame for Jay Knapp, especially because Jay Knapp was one of the strongest runners in this race a year ago. But the other 33 drivers are here today. 30 minutes for this Carb Day practice session. We're going to go all 33 drivers who are going to be starting in today's event, and we're going to see how it ends up shaking out here today in regards to tomorrow. The fastest driver in the session will gain 1 bonus point towards the championship. Of course, we saw Diacomo do that last week, and it didn't even matter because he failed to qualify. But we'll see who gets it here today. We got Blaine Keys as our first driver we're focusing on here. And how about Blaine Keys? This is his first start in the Indianapolis 250 since the very first one 9 years ago. Wouldn't you believe it? Great to have Blaine back here in the Indy 250. We're so excited to see what he is going to do this year. And Blaine is going to be rolling off in the 20th position. So mid-pack for him was alright qualifying. Didn't have to go to the last 9 shootout. We'll have to see what he can do. He's had a great season over in the Wawa Cup Series up to this point. Of course, he'll be running tonight in the Coke 600. And hey, he'll be running tomorrow from the 20th position. But his second Indianapolis 250 there, driving for Trackhouse Racing. And their Indy 250 only ride here for this year's Indianapolis 250. We got the 97. This is Aaron Abel. This is the one and only car from NS Racing in this year's Indianapolis 250 as Jay Knapp failed to qualify. Such a shame there. It's been a very tough season for Jay Knapp. He came into this race 29th in points and will probably fall to last in the point standings once all is said and done. But you have the 97 of Aaron Abel, who is 18th in points coming into this race. Of course, he's won before in the IndyCar Series at Pikes Peak last year. And last year in this race, Aaron Abel finished in the 10th position. So he's looking to better that by 9 spots tomorrow. There for his owner, Nathan Staplin, who I know would love to get an owner's win. He's got one car in this race. We'll have to see what he can do. 55 machine. That car is driven by Noah Clifton. This is his 8th Indianapolis 250. Only he and Samadio have 8 or more starting in this race. Nicholas Samadio has 10 of them. But Noah Clifton, the second most experienced driver in this field, currently the fastest driver in this practice session. And Noah Clifton, his best finish in this race is a 5th from 4 years ago in 2020. And I know Clifton would love to finally go to victory lane in this great race. We got Brad Stover there in the 99 machine for Webb Racing Enterprises. Of course, Drew Webb, a full-time owner this season in the Haas IndyCar Series. And he's got Nicholas Samadio and Brad Stover as his 2 drivers. Brad made his debut in this race last year and finished 28th. Number 95 machine, this is Richard Kinghorn and another team with only 1 car in the field, Nathan Orman Motorsports. It wasn't a good day to be Nathan last Sunday, was it? But, Bruno Diacomo, that was such a shame for Diacomo. 2 years in a row failing to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. But his teammate Richard Kinghorn is in the field for this 95. And we'll have to see what Kinghorn can do. Trying to best his best finish in this race of 10th from 5 years ago in 2019. He'll be running in his 3rd Indianapolis 250. rolling off from the 23rd starting position. The number 13, this is Max Anderson, and of course Max Anderson, a long-time name to this race. This is Max Anderson's 6th Indianapolis 250, a best finish of 11th though back in 2017. Max Anderson does not have the best of success in this race, but he's driving for a team that won the title 2 years ago when Brian Rodriguez was behind the wheel of this car. So we'll have to see what Anderson can do. He'll be rolling off deep in the field, 32nd, as he was in that last night shootout on Sunday. We'll have to see how well he can do starting from near shotgun in the field. Here's the number 5 machine of Braden Perez. This is Braden's 2nd Indianapolis 250. He ran in this race 3 years ago, but that was a wreckfest, and he was one of the drivers on the unfortunate end of that one. Driving there for Appalachian Motorsports, Caleb Rose's team right here. Of course, the debut of Appalachian Motorsports in the IndyCar Series this season. And Braden Perez looking to get the biggest win of his career tomorrow as he rolls off from shotgun in the field. He starts 33rd. How about that? The two guys who are starting in the last 2 spots right on each other right there. And here we go. Here is the obligatory let me talk about how much I love Nicholas Samadillo moment here during Indy 250 week. 2-time Indianapolis 250 champion, of course, 2018-2020. Just recently won a Wawa Cup Series race last week at North Wilkesboro. 27 career wins. Looking for his 3rd Indy 250, looking to tie Fitzwater tomorrow by winning this race on the all-time wins list. That would be amazing. Drew Webb, the owner of this car as well, so hey, they had that battle in the Wawa Cup Series last year, and you know what, Drew Webb was like, I'm going to give you an IndyCar Series ride. Of course, Nicholas Samadillo here in his 10th Indianapolis 250. He has been in every single one of these races since the second one, when it was the Indy 200 that Christian Master won. 10 straight runnings of this race for Nicholas Samadillo, and once again, looking to get another Indy 250 race victory. We're so excited to see what he does. He does roll off a little bit deeper in the field. Hey, he rolls off 12. He rolls off 12. I thought he was a little bit deeper. Had a lot of strong guys who were in that last night shootout, and I was surprised to see who it was, but all the strong guys managed to make it through there. And, we're going to have to see what they can do starting in the back of the field for tomorrow's race. Here we go. Priya McShane. This is going to be her first ever Indianapolis 250, and she's in a great ride. Essentially, this was the ride that won the race a year ago with Angel Gutierrez behind the wheel. This is the 3rd entry for Dog Pound Incorporated and Shane Lake. And Priya McShane, she's got a couple wins on the channel. Her first ever IndyCar start. She's going to roll off 26. You know what? Any of these guys can win this race, and these first-timers tend to do very well here in this Indy 250. Look at last year with Angel Gutierrez winning in an Indy 250 only ride. Priya McShane could definitely pull it off in her rookie campaign of this race. Logan Williams, fresh off a win at the Indianapolis road course there for American Motorsports. It's a shame that their 3rd entry with Corey Case failed to qualify, but they got both Brendan Wellington and Logan Williams in this race, and Logan has had an excellent season up to this point. 2 wins, got that win at Riverside, got the win at the Indy road course, comes into this race 8th in the point standings. Of course, everyone's chasing Bradley Bradshaw in terms of that top spot. We'll get to him in a moment. Logan Williams is 4th Indianapolis 250 and the runner-up from 3 years ago when Ethan Lewis won the race. And watch out for Logan in tomorrow's event. He is going to be a huge threat to win. Here's Dylan Matthews, her first ever Indianapolis 250. I'm sure she's excited about this one. Driving the 59 machine for Appalachian Motorsports, the other Appalachia car right there. And 1 career win on the channel. She wants to make it number 2 tomorrow in the Indianapolis 250, and there's a good opportunity for her to do that, driving for Appalachian Motorsports. Hasn't been the best of seasons for her. She's 11th in points, so not too bad from Dylan Matthews there. I just realized that Caleb has misspelled her name all season long. It'll be right for tomorrow's race. It's right on the ticker right there, as you see. 1 T and not 2. I know how to spell it, Dylan. I know how to do it. Here we go. We've got ourselves. This is, I think, the 15? 1-5? 15? We don't have a 15. I can't read the number on that thing. That's the 16. That's the 16. I know I can recognize Bradley Bradshaw's car. Haven't seen as much of Luna Lona, even though she's 5th in the points and got the win at Texas this season. She's had a very strong year as the defending champion of the Haas IndyCar Series. And you know what? She's driving for the best team. Scuderia Team Velocistar. I tell you what, 4 wins on the year. Ludovic Charette driving for him this weekend as well in the Indy 250. We'll get to her in a moment. But Luna Lona in this number 16. What a driver she is. And, of course, got the win at Texas. And she's definitely right up there to possibly get another Haas IndyCar Series Championship this year. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Of course, this race is not a double points race in terms of the title. It is the singular points. Of course, there were the extra bonus points for qualifying. Luna Lona was nowhere near that, as she will start 25th in tomorrow's race. But we'll have to see what she does in her second Indianapolis 250. She finished in the 16th position last year. We'll see if she can better that by 15 tomorrow. Here's the number 8 machine. This car is driven by Tanner Parton. And Tanner Parton is one of those guys who I feel bad for him in the Walla Walla Cup Series and what's happened to him over there. And, you know, this season here in the IndyCar Series, this has been kind of midway through the field. They're driving for Bernardo de Oliveira's team there. Or actually, no, he's driving for Matthew Hubert's team. My apologies. Vision Motorsports, one of the 2 new teams here to the IndyCar Series. And we'll have to see what he can do in his second Indianapolis 250. It was not the best of runs for him last year as he finished 30th. But he'll be rolling off into 15th starting position right where he is in points. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out for him. The number 25, this is one of the Smith brothers right here. Landon Smith Jr., I believe, was the 21 winner of the Freedom 50. I know he won the Freedom 50 either in 20 or 21, one of those 2 years. And, hey, you know, his brothers won this race before. Trey Smith, the winner from 2 years ago. But Landon wants to get his first ever IndyCar Series win tomorrow. And a very good opportunity for Landon Smith Jr. to do so there for Team, or Wisconsin Speedworks, or Team Williams. It's still Wisconsin Speedworks here in the IndyCar Series with Andrew Williams right there. His teammate to Max Anderson this season. And Landon's best finish in this race, unfortunately, is 25th from last year. Hasn't had much success here as he's going for his 3rd running in this event. Here is the number 41 machine. That is Angel Olvera, and she's had a lot of success in the Haas IndyCar Series on the road courses. This has definitely been her best season, or best series, I should say. But hey, maybe even her best season. She's 4th in points coming into this race, driving there for Trackhouse Racing. They've had a pretty solid campaign so far, especially with Olvera, who got the win at Willow Springs earlier this season. And she's looking to best her best finish of 24th from last year. 24th, 26th, 26th. She's just been stuck there all year, all the time in this race. However, she starts 4th tomorrow. A huge opportunity for him, starting there in the top 5. It's going to be a huge opportunity for her to get the biggest win of her career. Right behind her, here he is. Here's the other guy we like to talk about a lot, Zachary Fitzwater, the all-time winningest driver on the channel here in the number 81 machine. Got the win at Pocono at the end of last year. 3rd in points, got the win at Auto Club at the beginning of this year as well. I forgot about that one. But this here, only his 5th Indianapolis 250, which is hard to believe. He's running half of these races compared to Sam Adio. But Zachary Fitzwater, absolutely a strong contender for this win. 2nd 2 years ago to Trey Smith, and you know what? He wants number 29, and you know what? There's a good chance he can do it. Even though he's starting 29th in the field, if there's anyone who can do it, it's Zachary Fitzwater here in the IndyCar Series. Brennan Wilmington. Don't see Brennan drive too often. Of course, he's been full-time here in the IndyCar Series, but this is 2nd Indianapolis 250, 28th 2 years ago in that 34 machine. And you know what? Brennan's got a good opportunity again. He's starting in the 10th position. Not too shabby right there, starting top 10 for the Indianapolis 250. We'll have to see what he can do there. You know, he starts 10th, and he's 10th in points. See, a lot of guys have just matched where they were in points in the starting grid. And here we go, our defending Indianapolis 250 champion, Angel Gutierrez, got the win for Dog Pound Incorporated last year. There's only 2 career wins on the channel. Got a win at Bristol in the Cup Series earlier this year, but Gutierrez hasn't had the best of runs so far here in the IndyCar Series full-time, 19th in points. But this is the race that changed his career 1 year ago, and he wants to do it again. Wants to join Nicholas Samadio as a 2-time winner of this race. Driving for Trackhouse Racing right there. And you know Angel Gutierrez is going to be a threat to win this thing. Gutierrez, however, was in the last night's shootout, so maybe not as much speed in that car as they would have hoped, starting 30th tomorrow. But hey, you know what? It's a 100-lap race, a huge opportunity to get up to the front with all that time. Here's Igor Barreto. Great to have Igor back behind the wheel here in the Indy 250. This is going to be Igor's, I think, 6th Indianapolis 250? No, I'm wrong about that. I'm wrong. Oh, well, I'm not wrong about that. It is his 6th Indianapolis 250. He's been around a while. But his best finish is 15th 4 years ago in 2020. This is a guy, though, he can definitely peek through and win here as he's got the 3rd entry for Appalachian Motorsports. Of course, watch out for Appalachian Motorsports. They got a really strong set of drivers. You know, Igor Barreto's their experienced veteran. Kind of reminds me a bit of like Tony Kanaan right there. Of course, fellow Brazilian right there. I know Igor would love to win this race. And you know what? 27th starting position. A little bit deep in the field, but like I said, a 100-lap race. Anything can happen in 100 laps here in Indianapolis. Here he is. Here's the man of the hour. 54 machine, Bradley Bradshaw. 3 wins on the year, and not only that, all 3 of those wins coming on speedways. We've got Holmes, actually, yeah, Richmond is not necessarily speedway, but all oval tracks. You got the opening win at Homestead, got the win at Richmond, and got the win at Kansas, and that reminds me so much of what Zachary Fitzwater did 2 years ago, and Fitzwater finished second in this race. This is going to be Bradshaw's second Indianapolis 250. Bradley Bradshaw is going to be rolling off in the 7th position as well. And you know what? He finished 4th in this race a year ago. I mean, if there's any guy who's got the most momentum coming into this race, it's Bradley Bradshaw there for Scuderia Team Velocitar. Here is the winner of this race from 2 years ago, Trey Smith, driving for Outer Island Motorsports, my team. Man, it's been a while since I've called my own team on the channel, officially, here. And the good old Hers machine right there, Trey Smith, hasn't been a good season for the 2022 winner of the Indianapolis 250, but you know what? He wants number 2. He wants to join Sam Badillo on that list, and you know what? He's got a good shot at doing so, starting in the 19th position on that inside lane. I mean, all these guys, if you're in the race, you have a good shot of winning. We'll have to see how it ends up playing out with the cycle of pit stops. Who knows how the weather conditions are going to be? That also is a huge factor. And hey, you know, the other big factor is mechanical issues and possible wrecks, so we'll have to see how that ends up shaking things out. But Trey Smith, winner from 2 years ago, wants to do it again here. Of course, Nicholas Sambadio, his 2 wins came 2 years apart, so maybe Trey Smith does the same thing here this year. 73, that's Chris Reynolds. And Chris Reynolds had a best finish of 6th last year, and he wants to keep that momentum going. As a matter of fact, this is only his 2nd Indianapolis 250, because the first year he attempted to qualify for this race, he failed to qualify. But he's back in the 73 machine there for Durrani Racing. And Chris Reynolds is going to be starting on the outside pole. Watch out for Chris Reynolds, a huge threat to win this race. And you know what? Durrani Racing won this thing 2 years ago when Trey Smith was driving for him. Ryan Durrani might have another Indy 250 win as an owner coming up. Number 50, Skylar Taylor, their second, Indianapolis 250. Driving there for BO Racing, and Bruno Oscar Bernardo de Oliveira, the owner of that team. And Skylar's had an interesting season up to this point, but you know what? We'll have to see what they can do. Their first full-time campaign in the series. They were an Indy 250 only driver last year, and they ended up finishing in the 5th position 1 year ago. So, hey, Skylar was really good last year. We'll see what they can do this year. We got the Dutch Atlantis Racing team here, the 33, and great to say this name again here in Indianapolis, Audra Baranowskis. You remember that one from 5 years ago, don't you? Oh, man, Jonathan King still feel bad for him, and that one came down on the last lap. Hey, we've seen a lot of that this year in the Wall Cup Series, haven't we? But Audra Baranowskis was there to take the win away. We'll never forget that race from 5 years ago when Audra Baranowskis won that Indianapolis 250. Well, she is back here in Indianapolis, and you know what? She's going to have a good opportunity to win this thing as well, starting in the 5th position there for Rogaldorn's team. Definitely intrigued to see how that ends up shaking out for him. And she's right now 2nd quickest here, as Igor Barreto has the fastest time here at Carb Day practice up to this point. Here we go, number 20 machine, the other BO Racing machine. That car is driven by Avery Alford. And hey, you know what? Alford's had a pretty solid year so far. He got the race victory at Circuit of the Americas. And you know what? Trying to get some momentum going over there. He won the opening race in the Wawa Cup Series as well. We'll have to see what he can do there in that number 20 machine. But Avery Alford was in this race a year ago, and he finished in the 7th position. So he's a guy to watch out for. You know, all these guys are guys to watch out for, you know. I mean, I talked each and every single one of these drivers up, especially this guy, Ace Garcia. I want to talk about a guy who has experience. 7th Indy 250 for Ace Garcia right here in the number 27. Driving for the Dutch Atlantis Racing team. And Ace is a guy to watch out for as well. Finished 7th 2 years ago, and you know he's got a chip on his shoulder from this race, and a chip on his shoulder from what has happened to him over in the Wawa Cup Series this year as well. So watch out for him. It's going to be a tough one to beat in tomorrow's race. Number 23 right here, that is John Stewart. Driving for Vision Motorsports there, Matthew Hubert's team. There's the 2nd Indianapolis 250. John Stewart finished 32nd last year. I'm sure he wants a bit better than that. Here's Justin Zeidel, and, oh my! How did they avoid that? They don't have cautions here in the practice sessions. You know he's angry after missing this race last year. And Justin was in that last night shootout again, but he was not letting that stop him this time. Fastest in that last night shootout, will be rolling off 28th tomorrow in the 75 machine for Outer Island Motorsports. And Justin's a guy I know who really wants to win this race. And you know what? I think he's going to have a chance. Of course, the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series champion. And he finished 4th 4 years ago. A lot of guys had their best finish in 2020. We'll have to see if any of them can best it here today. We've gone through all these guys. Have a go over Ludovic Charette. She's in the 51, Indy 250 only ride. And, you know, she's had a great year over the Wawa Cup Series, getting that race victory at Kansas. And we talked to her so much during the offseason over there in the Wawa Cup Series. But we'll have to see what she can do in the Indy 250. This is a totally different animal than the Wawa Cup Series. And you know what? She's got a chance. 14th right there. An Indy 250 only driver won this thing a year ago. There she is for one of the best teams in the series. They're owned by Matt Tuck, and you know Matt is definitely going to be rooting for his drivers in tomorrow's race. All right. Who have we not? 07 right here. This is John Andrews, his 7th Indianapolis 250. You know, John's a guy who's been around so long here in the IndyCar Series, so long in the channel. Best finish of 6th, and guess what? 2020 for John Andrews. Comes to this race 9th in points, and driving there for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. They're a pretty strong team here in the Haas IndyCar Series. We'll have to see what he can do with his teammate Noah Clifton in tomorrow's event, but I'm excited to see what John can do. That'd be a huge win for John Andrews if he can pull it off. It'd be great to see it out of the long-time veteran. 69, how about Bryce Egan right here? There are 2 drivers in this field who have never won a race before on the channel. Only 2. Brennan Wilmington is one of them, and Bryce Egan is the other. But my goodness, he came close last week in North Wilkesboro in the Wawa Cup Series. Just didn't quite have it to hold off Nicholas Samadeo at the end. He's in a 3rd ride there for Durrani Racing, and he's going to have a very good opportunity at this Indy 250 race victory, I feel like. He starts 16th. And you know what? This is a guy who we really didn't know much about going into this year. He's definitely shown a lot of strength over there in the Wawa Cup Series. And you know what? He's going to have a good opportunity to possibly pull it off here tomorrow. Gone over these guys already. See, I know this, the one guy we haven't gotten to yet is, in fact, our pole sitter. Once you know it. Actually, and also the 52 machine. Let's get to him first. Thomas Troxel. And, you know, how can we not mention Thomas Troxel in this race? Missed this race last year as well. He's also got a chip on his shoulder for missing last year, but a lot better this year. Well, not a lot better, but he barely made it on. 31st starting position for Thomas. He was in there last night shootout again. But at least he's in the race this time. And not only that, he is 2nd in points. He's one of the strongest drivers in the series, just like it is in the Wawa Cup Series. Thomas Troxel is just good in everything he drives, except in IndyCar in Indianapolis. Now, with that being said, he finished runner-up in this race in 2020. We'll have to see if he can, in fact, better that this year. And that would be another huge win if Troxel could, in fact, pull that off. I'm intrigued to see what he does this year in that 52 machine for Durrani Racing. Right behind him there, here's our pole sitter, Christian Vargas. And you want to talk about someone finishing runner-up, 2-time runner-up in this race, including last year for Christian Vargas. Runner-up in 2019 to Audra Baranowskis. The runner-up last year, and that one probably stung for him. And you know what? The team that beat him was Dog Pound Incorporated, and he was like, if I can't beat him, I'll join him. And he's in that 00 there for Dog Pound Incorporated, team that has a lot of success here at Indianapolis. And guess what? He's going to be leading the field of the green flag tomorrow on that 00 machine. And Christian Vargas has definitely got to watch out for as the season rolls along. Because if he gets this race victory, he could have some momentum going through the championship. Hasn't been the best of seasons for him here in the IndyCar Series up to this point. But Christian Vargas is a guy to watch out for here in this year's Indianapolis 250, starting on the pole. This is going to be his 4th Indianapolis 250 for him. We'll have to see what he can do in that 00 for Dog Pound Incorporated. All right. The moment where we, did we catch everybody? Did we talk about all 33 drivers starting in tomorrow's race? I think we have. I'm pretty sure that we have. Obviously, we had some wrecks go on. We really don't care at that point for this Carb Day practice session. Only thing that matters is who's fastest. They get a bonus point, and that's it. The starting lineup's already set. You know, you can do all you want in this practice session. It doesn't really matter. 41 there. I know we talked about Angel Oliveira. I'm pretty sure that is it. We've got through all 33 of these drivers here who are going to be starting in this year's Indianapolis 250. And who's it going to be? That's the big question. All these guys want an opportunity at the Glory, and it is going to be one heck of a race tomorrow for 100 laps. Hey, and you know what? You want to talk about one heck of a race? Noon Eastern Time right here on AG the channel coming up. In less than an hour, we got ourselves the Freedom 50. Oh boy, is that a good race or what? That's always a good race. It's such a darn shame they got rid of it in real life. But you know what? We still got it. Caleb going to be running that race, and the 3 guys who failed to qualify, Corey Case, Bruno Diacomo, and Jay Knapp going to be running in that one. Excited to see who gets it done in the prelude to the Indianapolis 250. And always a blast there. Always a blast. Stephen Colon, the defending winner, not in the race this year, but what a race it was last year, and we've had some bangers in that one. And 20 laps. 20 laps. It's going to be a short one. We're going to have some fun with that one here in less than an hour. 5 minutes remaining here in this practice session for these guys. Egor Barretta with the fastest time. You know, it don't really matter that much for him. He's not full-time in this series, but that's definitely a good boost for Egor. Considering he's starting deep in the field, he knows he's got some speed in that car, and you know what? I'm sure Caleb wants to see that as well. We're going to have Caleb in the booth, Micah as well as always. It's going to be great to have him back. It's been a long time since he's called the race on the channel, but what a blast it's going to be tomorrow for the Indianapolis 250, noon Eastern time right here on AG the channel. It's interesting, I will say, that this year has been very different than past years, I feel like, in terms of how I've managed all this. I gotta give Caleb such a huge amount of gratitude for all that he's done during this Indy 250 week this year, especially doing qualifying. Time just did not allow me to properly do it, and I'm so glad I had him kind of as a backup there to run that. And jumping right into it on Carb Day practice, and then the race tomorrow is like, oh wow, I gotta get used to who's in what car. Well, that's why I did Carb Day practice, because I wanted to make sure I knew who was in what car. I took about an hour or so writing down the spotter's guide for us here tonight, and that's how I know who's finished the best in what race, how many races they've been in, how many wins they have on the channel, and all that junk, you know. But I gotta give such a huge amount of gratitude to Caleb for doing all that he's done on this channel this year, and really has brought the channel to new heights. It has allowed me to kind of focus on the Wawa Cup Series, do all of that stuff, while still running the IndyCar Series, which is a series I know so many of you really love and appreciate, and especially this race. And it would not be, the Indy 250 would not be the same without the series surrounding it. And, you know, sure, the rest of the season may not be as popular as the race itself, but it is so much fun to watch the Haas IndyCar Series. Caleb's done an excellent job bringing a different type of presentation to the channel with it as well. And excited to see what he does the rest of the season. Of course, the Indianapolis 250, very much steeped in tradition. The presentation of it is going to definitely be my own. And you're going to notice that. Obviously, you noticed that with the intro. We're bringing back the old intro for it because, you know, I love that old intro, man. We've run that thing for 8 years now, and I just can't change it. ABC doesn't do the Indy 500 anymore, so we can take that theme and play with it here for Carb Day and for the Indy 250 tomorrow. So we're excited for that. But no, Caleb's done an excellent job. Definitely a different type of presentation, but he's brought a lot of interesting things to the IndyCar Series this year, and he's going to carry the rest of the season. Once we leave Indianapolis tomorrow, it's going to be a great season to finish this one out, especially with who's up front in this championship. And hey, this race is going to play a huge factor in that championship. But the good thing is it's not the finale anymore. It's not the opening race. It's right in the middle of the season. It stands alone as it is. And the one year we did it as a finale, I feel like it may have taken away just a little bit. Hey, Luke Rainey's win was awesome, and you know what? That was a big win for Luke Rainey that year in 2017, but you know what? It's nice for you to just win the Indy 250 and not worry about the championship. And I guarantee you none of these guys care about those points going into tomorrow's race. It's all about getting the biggest win of the year on the channel, the Indianapolis 250, and somebody is going to kiss the bricks tomorrow, and it's going to be a party somewhere around the world. A lot of international flair, of course, as always in this race. And we're excited to see who gets it done in the Indianapolis 250. It'll be Christian Vargas and Chris Reynolds on the front row, Dylan Matthews and Angel Oliveira, Audra Baranowskis and John Andrews, Bradley Bradshaw and Ace Garcia, Landon Smith Jr., Brendan Wilmington, Brad Stover, Nicholas Samadio, John Stewart, Ludovic Charette, Tanner Parton, Bryce Egan, Aaron Abel, Logan Williams, Trey Smith, Blaine Keys, Avery Alford, Skylar Taylor, Richard Kingart, Noah Clifton, Luna Lona, Priya McShane, Igar Barretto, Justin Zidell, Zachary Fitzwater, Angel Gutierrez, Thomas Troxel, Max Anderson, and Braden Perez in the 5 from Shotgun. Almost done here with our Carb Day practice session. Freedom 50 coming up at noon Eastern Time. What a race that will be. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's the Coca-Cola 600 in the Wawa Cup Series. And, of course, tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, it's the Indianapolis 250. Igar Barretto looking to grab a bonus point towards the championship, even though it doesn't mean anything for him, because he is only running in this race. What a scheme. You know, another thing I must compliment Caleb on so much is how well he paints these cars. Look at that. I couldn't do that. What a scheme right there, you know, and that's the thing I love about running this race now, is that everything is custom. All the cars, you know, have their own custom schemes. You know, for many years we ran the real-life cars. We finally switched over to all custom 3 years ago, and, you know, it's so great to really see this race become its own thing, and that's what I always liked about doing the customs, is that, hey, you're not going to find this car set anywhere else. It's right here in the Haas IndyCar series, and, you know what? It definitely adds a lot of personality to this race, but at the core, it is still the Indy 250. It is still the longest race on the channel, and it's still the biggest race on the channel, and winning this race is a big deal. Probably doesn't change your life. This is NR2003, for crying out loud. But it's still a very big deal, and we hope you enjoy tomorrow's race, tomorrow's presentation of the 11th running of the Indianapolis 250. I don't know, man. 11 times I've done this, and I'm just as excited as I was for the first time, and Max Newworth won it back in 2015, 9 years ago when we did that. And hey, there's still some guys in this field who were in that first one. Actually, I think Blaine Keys might be the only one who was in that first one, who is still running in this race today. A lot of the other guys have come on a little bit later after that first one, but you know what? We're excited. We're excited to see it. And they are lined up right here. Of course, they will be lined up in the same order tomorrow for the Indianapolis 250. Take a look here at the official results for Carb Day practice. Igor Barreto and Audrey Barnauskas, the fastest drivers right there. It really doesn't mean much. Obviously, we saw that come into effect when we had Bruno Diacomo fail to qualify after he was fastest in practice the day before. So, hey, who knows how it's going to play out. But we do know that Igor Barreto gets a bonus point towards the championship. Doesn't really matter in terms of that, but he does still get rewarded the points for that, of course. So, we're excited to see how that ends up playing out for him. All right, thank you so much for watching. Freedom 50 coming up in about a half an hour at noon Eastern Time right here on AG the channel. Caleb going to be running that race. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then tonight, it's the Coke 600 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, it's the Indianapolis 250. Thank you guys so much for watching here for Carb Day Practice. We will see you guys tomorrow. I cannot wait. I am so excited. Oh my goodness, I cannot contain my excitement. It's going to be a blast tomorrow for the greatest race on the channel, and I can't wait for it. And you shouldn't be allowed to wait either. You should be anxious and fun, and oh my goodness, it's the best weekend of the year. And hey, you know, I have to mention as well, of course, it being Memorial Day, honoring those who gave their lives for this country. A very solemn holiday, but thankful to be able to have this opportunity to do these races, to go to these races as well. And you know what, it's a blessing, and I can't thank you guys enough for everything. And obviously, remembering those who gave their lives for this country is also an important part of this weekend as well. And we're very thankful for all that did that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Huge congratulations to Igor Barreto for being the fastest here in Carb Day Practice. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Indianapolis 250 as Christian Vargas will lead us to the green flag in the great race. I will see you guys later.